Hello, greetings, and welcome to another episode of Right. Today we're interviewing author Jude Matulich-Hall on her book, The Eversteam Chronicles,
Yep.
book one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So the
There's a copy of it.
The Eversteam Chronicles by Jude Matulich-Hall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good enough. All right. Today we're going to ask him, we're going to get a little more in depth than we have been before. So in your book, you remember last time we talked, Rufus came up.
Yeah.
And why did you call Rufus the most annoyed of angels? I'm curious.
So he's a reluctant archangel, and
Right.
I kind of go into the background. Now, most people know the stories of archangels, and so I wanted a different kind of archangel, and so the thing behind him becoming the most annoyed of angels and becoming so reluctant is because his brothers have gotten very lazy. Because Rufus's job from the beginning was to pick up the slack.
Really?
To pick up the slack. He was like the extra little archangel that was supposed to just, take care of little things, that not important things. He had nothing to do with the deaths of major figures in history. He has nothing to do with the big wars and the profound wars and et cetera, et cetera.
Deal with the day-to-day crap, in other words?
Yeah, the day-to-day crap. One of the lines is, if you smash your toe and you call out to almighty beings, who comes in their steed is Rufus. So, it's the little things. If you're praying for a red light to change, or you can't find your keys, the big angels don't deal with that. That's Rufus's job. Wow. But in time, they just kind of become lazy because Rufus is doing so much that they stop doing everything. And so Rufus is kind of, and so the line is, he was created to pick up the slack, but now it's all slack.
How did he get to be an archangel anyway?
I don't go into that. Okay. Those kind of beings, they've always been. I like the idea of deities and those type of figures too. They don't really come into existence. Well, that's not true though. I do have a god come into existence in my story, but energy's energy. It's always been there. It always will be there. It might change forms, but
right.
Yeah.
But somehow Rufus got the bad end of the stick, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's quite unlucky, wouldn't you say?
I don't think he's. Oh well, I don't know if he's unlucky. He's kind of he's not very suave. He trips, he fumbles, he
sounds like a pathetic archangel.
He really is. He's sallow. His hair never, he's got a cowlick that sticks up. His wings sag. He does not look good in white. He's like any other color but white. He longs for a gray, rainy day, which never happens in heaven. It's always perfectly warm and everything's so perfect. And he just he wants something else.
I can see why, actually.
Yeah.
Why did he keep the burdens of people locked away in a private place?
So that's the thing, is because Rufus is different than other angels, and because he deals with the small shit, he's learned to understand humans on their level. Whereas the other archangels are so above and separated from humanity by just separating themselves. They're glorious beings. They don't need to dwell amongst that muck down there, but right. Rufus has, and so he's become more human than any other archangel. And
wow, that's a good. Now, why did you call Rufus the most empathetic of angels? It seems to contradict his earlier title, you know?
So the most annoyed of angels and the most
Yeah.
empathetic of angels. It sounds like it's contradictory, but really, if you think about empathy, empathy comes from understanding another, even if you've not experienced what another has experienced. We can have empathy, right? We can all
Right.
feel empathy for what someone's hardships, what someone's going through, even if we haven't been through it ourselves. And it's different than sympathy. Empathy has the aspect of compassion behind it. It's a stronger, more warrior type spirit behind empathy, whereas sympathy is just feeling sorry for someone.
Right.
But empathy is deeper. And so because Rufus has experienced an emotion like annoyance, which is a human emotion, he's more empathetic with humans. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Whereas the other archangels, they've never experienced anger or annoyance or frustration. They're, like I said, because they're so separated, but he's right in there with the muck. And so he empathizes, even though he hates everything, he empathizes.
All right. Who is Lemmy? And tell us a little bit about it.
Lemmy Killmeister. No, sorry. Lemmy Meister Kill.
Yep.
Is his name. Lemmy Meister Kill. And for anybody that's a fan of the amazing guitarist, yes, that's where I got the idea for his name. He's a little demon, a small demon he's the butler of Mr. Smith. Don't call him Lucifer. And that's what he does. He does little things for Mr. Smith. He runs around hell having a good time. And more than anything, he wants his wings. And so that's his little journey, is getting his wings.
What is keeping him from getting his wings?
So only the biggest, baddest demons can get their wings. So that's bad with a capital B. And so there's a saying that when you hear a bell, right? When you hear a bell, an angel gets its wings?
Right.
So I played with that of like, well, how does a demon get their wings? And so I decided that the only way demons can get their wings is when a specific piece of music is played by a specific violin with a specific bow, and it's played perfectly. So it's very difficult for a demon to get their wings.
Wow.
And that's and that's how humans know a demon is getting their wings, is when you hear that piece, and which is the devil's chord.
Right.
And Paganini played. That Paganini was famous for playing those incredible pieces and writing those incredible pieces. And so I decided that Tartini's The Devil's Trill was the piece. I didn't name it in the book, but it has a lot of hints so that if someone wanted to figure out what piece I'm talking about, they can figure it out. I don't like dropping things like that. I hint at it. I don't use specific names and stuff.
Right.
So that's cheating. So the idea is when we hear that, we know that a demon is getting their wings. Well, in hell, the way that appears is it's this creeping fog with souls, devilish souls searching through hell. And well, every once in a while, that piece starts to play in hell, and Lemmy just freaks out because he's like, I want my wings. Is it my turn? Am I bad enough?
Oh, boy.
So, but he's never bad enough.
That's funny, actually. Now, who on earth is Master Santa? And tell us a little bit about him.
So Lemmy is dyslexic. And so,
really?
But he talks dyslexic. He talks and
Wait, he talks dyslexic?
Yes, and so he mixes up letters and words throughout. And so he calls his Master Santa.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Who is Master Santa, though? Is it
It's Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So if Lemmy is dyslexic, and because we don't
Yep.
say that word, we don't say that one name.
All right. Describe, if you would, the throne room of
Oh.
Master Santa or Mr.
So,
Smith.
yeah, the throne room has Cathedra in it, and she is a sentient throne, and it's got this crazy shag carpet, and it's full of medieval torture devices, huge candelabra with made of bones, and the sounds of the dead can be heard.
Sounds scary. Yeah.
But all these, Mr. Smith has become rather bored over the millennia. And so the torture devices are broken and rusty and falling apart, and it's, yeah. And there's a mirror in the corner that I know I need to do something with that mirror. At this time, that mirror isn't special or anything, but I have a feeling that mirrors will become special in the future. A mirror in hell can't just be a mirror in hell, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, the throne sounds fascinating. Tell us a little bit about it. What is it called, by the way? Just the throne, or
Cathedra.
Cathedra.
Cathedra is her name.
Cathedra's the name.
Yeah, its name. It is sentient.
Is it a female or a male?
I feel that it's feminine, but
Right.
I mean, it's probably all and everything and both and nothing at the same time, right? And it's made out of metal and bones and ethereal material. Yeah, it has symbols on it, and you can't tell organic from inorganic, and it's just this melding. And she has claws, and she groans, and she communicates with Lemmy and Mr. Smith, although it's in a language that we don't understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. For Mr. Santa or
I have
Mr.
a
Smith,
picture of Cathedra, actually. I
You
just
do?
realized I do
in the book.
in the book. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a picture of Master Santa in the book?
No, I don't know if I'm gonna put a face to that guy.
Okay.
Lemmy's in there though.
Lemmy's in there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had the art with we haven't done the main characters. And I don't know if I'm going to. We've done scenes together. We figured out scenes together, small characters, but not the main characters. I don't know if I'm going to put faces to the more humanoid characters.
You won't describe Master Santa in the book, right?
Oh yeah, he's completely described. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
What does it say?
ginger with a goatee.
He's got a goatee, right?
He's slick back ginger hair, a goatee.
Right.
He's got his horns and his skull cufflinks. He dresses savvy and has a cane with a skull on top and manicured fingernails. And
Now, that's a wonderful description of Master Santa, of course. Scary and menacing. How does Lemmy react to this display?
So I really love Lemmy and Mr. Smith's relationship, because there's this, I don't know, there's definitely a friendship there. Mr. Smith, as much as Mr. Smith can be a friend to anyone, he relies on Lemmy, and they joke. They have this little joking that they do.
Really?
Like Mr. Smith's trying, he scares Lemmy, but then they're looking at each other, and you don't see Mr. Smith yet. All it is his eyes, and they glare at each other, and then they try to be menacing, and Lemmy is like throwing it right back, and
Right.
then finally Lemmy goes, "Oh, okay, now I'm scared," And Mr. Smith asks, "Was that menacing enough?" And Lemmy's like, "Oh yeah." It's
All right.
a fun little relationship.
We'll move on to a little bit of part 2 now. Back to our main character, Penelope. She awakens in a room And I'd like a description of that room, please, because in the story, you describe it so well.
She wakes up in an apothecary that belongs to a plague doctor. And it's got herbs herbs hanging from the ceiling, drying, and there's shelves and shelves of containers and jars and bottles
Right.
of all sorts of different things. And there's pastes and there's smells and there's something bubbling here and boiling there, and little signs in calligraphy that describe what everything is. So I really tried to bring in all the senses,
Right.
and to bring in a nostalgia. And, there's familiar things like cinnamon and pepper and orange peel,
Right.
and things that people can really connect to. But there's also strange things like piles of little bones and powders and stuff that that are a little mysterious.
Now you say in a plague doctor's room, right? What exactly is a plague doctor?
So a plague doctors came up in history during the plague, and they believed, so their masks they kind of resemble a crow. So their masks were these long snouted things, and what they would do is they would put dried herbs and
Wait,
spices.
their
and stuff
mask has
in the
long
beak.
pointed nose?
Yeah, and they would put these herbs and spices and stuff in the beak of
Right.
the mask, so that they could smell it while they were taking care of people that had the plague. And
Oh boy.
so there are two theories behind it. Was some say that they thought those herbs and spices protected them from the plague. Yeah, because masks do protect you from things, from icky things. And but there's also a theory that it helped with the smell of all the dead bodies.
Incredibly interesting, right?
Yeah, plague doctors are very interesting. Yeah.
They wore a mask that had a long pointed nose, and they wore that when they were working on the patients?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's incredibly cool. Now
Yeah,
the plague
it's
doctor
a
himself.
part of European history.
Wow. The plague doctor himself is an interesting but minor character in this story.
Yeah, in this story, he's
Describe him and tell us what pivotal bridge role he plays in stories to come.
So Mortimer Pestle is his name, and he has a little plague mouse named Masala that lives in an inside pocket of his robe. And he's got long black robe. You can't see any part of him. He's got his big black hat and his black mask and long black robes, and he wears gloves and shoes. He's completely covered. Nothing can be seen of who he is. And the eyes are just like these mesh eyes, so you can't even see his eyes. And
oh my God.
He talks in a muffled voice because he's always behind the
That's
mask.
incredibly creepy,
Good.
Yeah.
And he can communicate with Nevermore, the clockwork raven. And so he has a special ability to communicate with crows, and I can't think of the scientific term. Corvids. He can communicate with corvids, and
what are corvids?
Corvids are like crows and ravens and
okay
and magpies. I think magpies are in that.
Right.
Yeah, so those kinds of birds. And he looks very much like one with his mask as well.
Yep.
And he found Penelope after she hit her head, and I was supposed to keep her occupied, but he doesn't. And, because there's the owner of Nevermore, the mysterious old man that's in unreality, wants Penelope distracted because she cannot find the spark that he has.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I won't go into detail with that because that's the whole story. That's the story. That's
now tell us what pivotal bridge role he plays in the stories to come.
So he becomes very important because he I don't know if he'll ever be a main character, but he there is a connection between him an unreality. He can travel to unreality, which not many people can.
Wow.
And he's just, I really like his character because it's a really mellow character.
Yep.
He does what needs to be done, unforcefully, and he ends up saving a very important person.
Sounds like a character you can develop a great deal of sympathy for, right?
I think so. Oh yeah, because I don't want to reveal too much, but his connection with unreality is very important, and yeah, there's gonna be a whole lot of sympathy for him and his predicament.
Well, yeah.
Why he's there. Yeah.
Well, all right, that ends today's interview. But I'm very excited about talking to you again, Jude.
Thank you.
So, how do the people get in touch with you?
So they can find me on my website, www.judematulich-hall.com.
Right.
I'm on Facebook under JMH Writers and Illustrated. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
What is
their Twitter?
Where's your YouTube handle?
It's under my name, Jude Matulich-Hall. You can also catch my new TV show, Bad Juju and J-Bone Presents, which deals with authors and other creatives.
That's great. That's great.
Doing a whole lot.
Yes. All right. I'll see you next time when we go deep further into the Eversteam Chronicles, but not giving away the main plot. But all right. I'll see you later, Jude.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.